Today is the second anniversary of Hurricane Harvey making landfall in the coastal bend. And 2 years later, several communities now know how to prepare and protect both people and property. Next time, Chris 6 News reporter Nikhila Pradier has more on the lessons learned.
A new house now sits at the address in Fulton where ZELPHIA HEWES has lived most of her life, replacing her longtime home that was destroyed by Hurricane Harvey on August 25, 2017.
The north side of the house looked like a machine gun had rippled it with all the debris that was up against it.
Since then, she and so many others in the coastal bend have been rebuilding and hoping that another major storm doesn't wipe out their lives like Harvey did.
I've seen a lot of progress. In 13 hours it was destroyed.
BURT Mills isn't only the Aransas County judge, he's a sixth-generation resident there. And while, of course, he doesn't want his community to endure another event like Harvey, he and other leaders have to make sure they're prepared as best as possible. One major lesson is that the timeline for activating any emergency plans can change in an instant because Harvey gained strength so quickly.
I'd like to think that we're not ever going to take the possibility of a rapid intensification for granted again. We're gonna assume that that's going to happen next time, and we'll move our timeline up even a little quicker.
When it comes to property, Port Aransas Emergency Manager and Development Services Director Rick Adams says the existing building code worked well for the newer structures, which suffered less damage from the devastating storm surge. But Harvey may prompt more changes in the future.
Even maybe bring in some additional, more stringent requirements, knowing that we're wind and flood and storm surge vulnerable.
Businesses like Ron Hoover Marine and RV in Rockport were able to save their structures, but at the expense of inventory, with about $1 million worth of lost product.
We had probably 39 trailers turned upside down, blown over on top of other buildings.
Corporate project specialist Blake Anthony recommends any business, especially those with a lot at risk, to have their insurance and emergency plan in place. But he also says during a catastrophic storm like Harvey, the personal ultimately outweighs the practical.
When it all boils down, it's not about stuff. It's about people and relationships.
Something that was on full display in the hours and days after the hurricane's landfall.
At first, everybody's in shock and everybody's lost. But after that wears off pretty quickly, then we begin to really come together and start building.
Now the coordination between businesses, residents, government, and volunteers is improved in the event of another storm.
The biggest takeaway for people who live here in Rockport, Fulton, and the other coastal communities who endured Harvey at its peak strength of a Category 4 is to heed the warnings of your local leaders and officials. If they're recommending that you evacuate the area, they say that's exactly what you should do before it's too late.
Even in Corpus Christi, where Harvey came through at Category 1 strength, voluntary evacuations were issued.
It could have been worse. We got very lucky.
City Emergency Management Coordinator Billy DELGADO says those orders are never issued lightly and should always be taken seriously.
Listen to the news media, listen to the city. When we do press conferences, if we say evacuate, it's for your safety, and we figure that you need to know that something bad is coming.
Well, take care of what you have here, and you take care of yourself, and you come back when you can.
ZELPHIA HEWES believes that leaving her Fulton home during Harvey saved her life. Now she and her family have this second chance.
I'll be home again. We'll be home.
The same chance that others in the coastal bend still have if they seek out the help.
It's worth every minute that we waited for it. It's worth it.
Yeah, right. Nikhila Pradier, Chris 6 News.
All right, thank you, Nikhil. And a couple of other things to keep in mind. Make sure you have enough insurance coverage to pay full replacement cost of your property. Also, those policies often don't cover flood or windstorm damage, which require separate policies. We have a link with other helpful information on our website, chris6tv.com or christv.com. Just look for Nikhila's story.